Hi, good evening, Sanidhya. Thank you for taking out time and joining us today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for
And
providing this opportunity. Yes, sir. Thank
congratulations
you so
for
much.
clearing this examination. And how was the feeling after you saw your name in the list?
Sir, it was quite overwhelming to be honest. Actually, it was my elder brother's birthday, and we were having lunch in the restaurant. And at that time, suddenly every Telegram group uh, gave the PDF. So we just stopped and searched for the name. And when I found the name at the 480th place, we couldn't actually had the appetite left, so we got the food packed and get back to the home, sir. And
Wonderful,
it was
wonderful,
surreal, sir.
Sanidhya.
Yeah.
Great. Now we are all proud of you, the hard work you have put in. So, Sanidhya, tell us about your UPSC journey.
Actually, it started way back in my fourth year itself. So I decided at the end of my third year that I'll pursue the civil services. So for that, I started preparing for this, and I had the access to the Vision IS Foundation batch account. So I did the foundation from there. In the fourth year itself, I completed the GS as well as the optional. In the fag end of fourth year, I gave the first attempt of my prelims, but fortunately, I can say I couldn't clear it. So that worked for me because I got the ample amount of time to prepare and consolidate the optional as well as the GS means part, sir. So in that attempt, sir, I got somewhere around 42, 43 marks.
In
And
prelims.
yes, sir, actually, I did the syllabus for at a good amount of depth, but the guessing part, I was not able to
Mm.
execute it properly. So actually, I guessed too much, and it was quite factual. So in 24, the paper was quite factual also.
Yes.
So
Mm.
it did not pan out in my favor. So I prepared for the mains part in the upcoming 6 month. That was from the June to December, and then I switched to the complete prelims mode from the January. So although I was covering the optional also for 1-2 hours in the February
Mm.
till 15th February, as far I can remember. So and so at this time in the 25, I cleared the forest cutoff. As of now, the marks are not released, but I have cleared the forest
Mm.
cutoff also. So in that, sir, I thoroughly used the PYQs. Uh, And
Mm.
actually, the first time which I saw your video was after the prelims only, sir. I didn't knew the ThinQ IS about the ThinQ IS before prelims. But just after the prelims, your one of your videos got viral that how I cleared the 4 times mains.
Nice. Yes.
So yes, so luckily I found it and I got access to your notes, and that quietly, sir, fortunately for me, that quietly gave a crisp amount of notes. Actually, I have studied the society part, the ethics part, the governance part, but I didn't
Mm.
have the value added, sir, consolidated mains notes that I can revise a day before and like pour into the paper, sir. So that was, sir, a brief journey. Yes, sir.
All right, all right. So let us like discuss it up phase wise.
Yes,
Like
sir.
you said, ki you were not able to clear first prelims, and then you worked hard, and you were able to clear forest cutoff too in your second
Yes,
attempt.
sir.
So, what
Yes.
according to you is the most important thing that is needed to clear prelims examination? And like some people say, elimination, aptitude, PYQs, content, mocks. So, what do you think is the right amount or right area where one should focus in order to clear this prelims examination?
So for prelims, I'll say first we need to minimize our resources as we cannot rely on too much resources. We need to consolidate and fix our number of resources, but that should be, sir, quality resources. It should not be that we have consolidated or minimize it to some little resources only, because we need some amount of depth in the prelims examination so that we can eliminate with our peripheral knowledge, sir. So for that, I had my Vision IS foundation notes and the basic resources. Like for polity, I refer to the Udan IS, Udan series of theirs,
Hmm.
which helped
Okay.
me, sir, revise the polity part in few days only. In 1 to 2 days, I could revise the polity part,
Hmm.
sir, instead of just
Okay.
cramming up the Lakshmikant at the day before, sir. And so
So
this
you
was the
didn't
case,
study
and
Lakshmikant? You
I
must have
did
studied
study, sir,
Lakshmikant.
Lakshmi. I have studied Lakshmikant, but for the final week of before the exam.
Hmm.
The Udan series was helpful
For the
because
last
sir,
minute
Lakshmikant
quick
is quite bulky.
revision.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir. And sir, I did give the mock test from the library itself. I made it like quite mandatory that I'll give a mock in within 3 days in February and alternate days in March, and from 15th of April to 30th April, I gave constant mock on each day, sir. These were of the Forum IAS, Next IAS, and also Vision IAS. So these three institutes I relied upon. In the last month, sir, I what I did was I didn't give any mock. Rather, I relied on the PYQ analysis. I was doing the PYQs, but in the last month, I only did PYQs because was in this phase that I wanted to get the neck of the UPSC examiner's mindset. So for their kind of language, what kind of tricks they are playing out. So I did the PYQs only, sir, in that time. And sir, the 23 gave me the lessons for the CSET, so I didn't ignore it in the 24
Mm.
itself and in the 25 also. And after giving the 25 CSET, I can say that it was not an easy piece of cake, sir. It was also having some troubling questions,
And
especially in the
considering you are
English,
an
sir.
engineer,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I didn't took lightly the CSET paper. I did prepare for the CSET also in the last month, sir. As I was confident on the maths part, but for the English part, I did practice the PYQs only, sir. I didn't do any mock test, rather just the Abhyas, 3 tests of Abhyas and the PYQs, sir.
mm,
I did for the CSET. So
okay,
fifth was this current affairs, sir. I relied totally
mm.
upon the PT 365 only, sir.
For
And
prelims current affair, you just use
yes,
PD
sir.
365.
And there were many current compilation, but I thought it would be beneficial that I can revise a single compilation many times rather than going for 2, 3 compilations. So that was my strategy for current affairs. And sir, the elimination tricks and these logical guess,
Hmm.
these flood the YouTube in the, I can say, Jan to May time.
Yes.
Every other mentor is giving their logical guessing trick or something or other. But I applied those with a piece of wisdom, sir. I would say. Uh, First, I used to solve the question with the knowledge and the peripheral knowledge
Hmm.
itself. If I was able to solve them, then fine.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I would leave the question and go for it in the second attempt. So in the sir, I used to do the paper in the 2 attempts only because I used to feel that if I am doing in 3 attempts, then I was hurrying
Hmm.
up or say, rather
Hmm.
making more silly mistake. So that was quite personalized for me. So I did the paper in the 2 attempts only. In the first attempt, the questions which I was quite sure of. In the second
Hmm.
attempt, I did the questions by applying the logical guessing, the patterns based upon the PYQ themes, like some of these no, the extreme
Hmm.
statement, the only
Extreme
statement I used to
statements.
do.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So, but I didn't just cram up the videos of the PY, cram up the
Hmm.
videos of these tricks and tips that floated in the market. Rather, what I did was I applied them in each of the paper from 2013 to 2024 in
Hmm.
each of the paper, and I internalized those tricks, sir. So for that, sir, there is a channel of CSE Metrics by Vikas Thakur, sir. That really helped for me,
Okay.
sir. So shout out to him also, sir. He helped me clear the
Great.
prelims examination.
That's wonderful. And what about newspapers? Did you follow newspapers for prelims?
Sir, I used to read the newspaper till the end of March. But from the April, May, what I did was I used to just read the headlines, the 1, 2 pages only,
Hmm.
sir. That was
Hmm.
all. I didn't follow the newspaper until the end, sir.
And did you make your own notes out of the newspaper, or you directly relied on the compilation like PT 365?
Sir, I didn't make the newspaper notes, sir,
Hmm.
daily notes, sir. But actually,
You didn't. You.
I was thinking, in the initial phase, like after not clearing the
Hmm.
prelims for the first time,
Uh,
I thought and I also made some notes. But the problem was I was not able to revise those. So that was not helpful for me. So that it was because of this problem, I abandoned the strategy of making daily newspaper notes.
hmm. And yes, it worked for you as the
Yes.
final compilation helped you out.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
that's great. And how many mocks did you take? Some people
Sir,
say
somewhere
that
around
we
40.
should
Sir, 40.
40. 40 is a substantial number of
Yes.
mocks. I personally haven't written these many mocks for prelims, even in my 6 attempts. I mostly relied on PYQs. But yes, everyone has different strategy. And in your case, it helped you out. But what I feel is, again, PYQs are really very important for each and every stage, for prelims as well as for mains.
Yes, the PYQs are only the hook that really help us to know that are we going in the right direction or what important themes are there, what should be focused upon, like in the art and culture, the Buddhism, Jainism, and there are many
Mm.
themes which are quite often repeated and are very important, sir. So it is through PYQ analysis only that we get to know about these themes. And what, sir, as I mentioned, I did only the PYQs in the last month, that was in the May, so
Yes,
that I was familiar with the statement kind of language that UPSC examined is for me and kind of important themes that are there, sir.
that's great. So, what is one piece of advice that you would like to give to the aspirants who have their prelims in 2026?
Sir, I'll say do not just solve the PYQs as solving any other mock test. Rather, analyze each and every option, the uh, possible themes or possible dimension that can open up in the examination in the upcoming years. And think of like important themes should be prioritized. Sir. There are many, the content is unlimited. I can say that the content is huge and very vast. Sir. But what we can do is we can optimize the content based upon the PYQ analysis. So PYQs were the most important thing that I think I changed in the 24 attempt to 25 attempt, the rigorous PYQ analysis. I might have done 3 to 4 times of PYQ analysis, and in the May itself, I did the 10-year PYQs for the 2 times. Sir. So that was my strategy, sir.
Okay, so just 1 month before the prelims examination.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That's great. That's great. So after this, let us discuss about mains. So you scored good and exceptionally great marks in mains. It was a bit less than average or average score in interview just ki wajah se your rank went in 400. So we will discuss that briefly later on about the interview. And first, let's talk about mains. Iske baad. So what was your strategy for mains? So this was your first mains, right?
Yes, sir. It
2025
was my
was your
first year.
first mains? And yes, yes. So how did you tackle the mains part? How many mocks did you take? How did you prepare your short notes or one pager notes, as a lot of people say out there that it is needed? And what was the role of PYQs in mains preparation?
So let's sir, first talk about the GS part, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So for the GS part, to be honest, for the GS1, I had the notes of society from the Vision IS, the Smriti ma'am's notes. They really helped me in grasping the understanding the conceptual part of the various societal dynamics. But sir, I can say that these were not kind of notes that I could revise a day before because the content of society is huge, as well as these are the substantial amount of marks is also dedicated in the society part. Somewhere around 90 to 100 marks of question is there in the GS1 for the society.
Hmm.
So,
Yes.
sir, I totally relied upon your notes for the society as I had the conceptual understanding, but the value added and the means ready notes were of yours. So, I luckily found the video that I initially talked about and focused upon the short notes, the one pager notes that you provided for the subjects like art and culture. Uh, and sir, the governance, IR. Sir, I haven't studied IR till the means time. I didn't got the time, sir, actually, because there were 24 classes of the Vision IS, and I found that for the
Hmm.
50 marks, these are not worthwhile for giving the 24 classes because I'll have to revise. So I didn't do the IR till that time. So I relied upon your notes, and I did put these quotes that you gave in. Because, one quote I really remember that you gave of S. Shankar that the global order is churning. Everyone must look out for themselves. I concluded
Yes.
one answer with that also, so I clearly remember. So those notes really helped for me. And for the so GS3, the economy was sorted because I had the foundation notes and I did the
Hmm.
PYQ analysis. For the disaster management, for this agriculture part and various other sir
And
internal security
security.
I, yes
Yes.
sir security notes were sir gold mine. I could say your security notes are gold mine, sir, because the 4 questions that were of security were
Hmm.
totally from your notes, sir.
Yes.
I clearly remember I had just sir crammed out or like vomited the content that I studied for the internal security in these 4 questions. I was pretty confident in the GS3 score. I was
Hmm.
expecting somewhere around 90 or 100, but I don't know why
But
the
due
score I
to due
scored
to
is low.
yes, the scaling is low in
Yes,
GS3. It
sir.
has been
Yes,
happening for
sir.
the last 4 years. The scores in
Yes,
GS3 are very low for everyone.
yes, sir. So this was for the
And did you
GS3,
did you
sir.
make diagrams in GS? How did you do the value addition part, like codes, data, and reports, diagrams in GS3? Like I also told in the videos that for internal security we have to draw the map. Border पे आए तो map बना दो, मेरीन
Yes,
पे
sir.
आए तो मैप बनाकर दिखा दो, ड्रग पे आए तो गोल्डन ट्रायंगल क्रीसेंट बनाकर दिखा दो. So did you make those maps in your answers?
Yes, sir. As I mentioned earlier, I have copy pasted those maps that you gave in the notes itself, sir. In the there was one maritime security question, question number 20th. I made the notes, the three frontier that you draw of the Navy, the Coast
Huh.
Guard, and the police. I made that diagram, as well as the, sir, Naxal corridors, the Naxal data that you
Yes.
gave, the districts. I mentioned all the data, all the facts
Hmm.
that I could, because I clearly remember for the Naxal question, I was quite excited, sir. I had the content, so I actually gave it, rather than 7 minutes, I gave it 10 minutes, because I had the time, sir. And the terrorism part, sir, the dimension, like what kind of manifestation, it was directly from your notes, sir. The
Huh.
bioterrorism. So I mentioned all those direction, all those dimensions, sir. So the diagrams were there, the data was there, the committee report was there on the
Hmm.
water stress. There was the Mihir Shah committee that you
Mayor Shah
mentioned, sir.
committee. Yes.
Yes, sir. I mentioned that committee. So I did these things. The data was there, diagram was there. These things I did, sir.
Okay. And students are particularly concerned about environment and science and tech when it comes to GS. So how did you manage that?
So personally, I feel in for the mains examination, these are low ROI subjects,
Hmm.
sir. If we give same amount of time to internal security, we'll fetch more marks rather than giving the same amount to the environment and science and tech. So, for the prelims, we should study these subjects rigorously so that we can prepare an answer, or rather give an answer in the mains itself from the prelims knowledge itself. Sir. So, what I did was, sir, I didn't specifically did anything new for the environment. On science and tech, I revised your note that you provided for the science and tech, the
Hmm.
dimensions, and the questions were from that. The biotechnology question was from there, sir. So, this was my strategy for the environment and science and tech. But it was not, sir, quite rewarding, but I will say, as compared to agriculture, disaster management, and internal
Hmm.
security, sir.
हाँ,
These are more
उसमें
ROI
there
based
is very
subjects.
predictable and direct
Yes, sir.
questions are there. Yes.
Yes.
So for science and tech or environment, did you read any standard sources or books like the Standard Shankar book for environment or any other book for science and tech, or you simply relied on the notes?
Sir, for the environment, I did the PMFIS once or
Okay.
twice.
Hmm.
I read the PMFIS because it was quite colorful, sir. So that helps in the some pictorial memory, sir.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I read the Shankar IS, PMFIS's book. But for environment, I also had the notes of the Vision IS Foundations. So
Okay.
it was those notes that I revised a week before for the
Hmm.
GS3, sir. And nothing else I did for the GS3 environment because I didn't feel like the outcome or the ROI is too great. So I didn't invest too much time in the environment, sir.
All right. All right. And coming to GS2, you scored one of the top scores in GS2. So AIR1 got 127 and you have scored 121, which is an exceptionally good score this time in GS2. So what do
Yes,
you
sir.
think worked for you in GS2? Particularly if we talk about quality, governance, and IR. Quality mein, how did you do the value addition? Usme, did you make any diagrams or anything? Or just Supreme Court judgments, articles? So what do you think worked for you in GS2?
Sir, I think this time the paper of GS2 paper was a
Was
little
tough,
bit on the difficult side. Yes, sir, on the
tricky,
difficult side.
tricky, applied and
Yes,
tough.
sir.
Yes.
Uh, they were conceptually intermingling in the questions, like two or three questions were intermingling and then asked, sir.
Hmm.
What really helped for me was the Vision IS Foundation note by Amil sir, sir. These were quite helpful, sir, because I had the case laws ready answer in during the mains time, but I needed more notes because, sir, actually what happens in the foundation passages, there is a limitation on the teacher that he or she cannot
Hmm.
dictate every sentence.
Yes.
Rather, yes, sir, that is the limitation. So I didn't feel that the notes that were of the foundation were sufficient for the mains, sir. So I, sir, supplemented them with the Atish Mathur sir's free initiative that he took in the between the
Hmm.
prelims and mains. So I supplemented the polity part for that. For the governance and IR, I totally relied upon your notes, sir. And because of those value addition in the governance, there were
Hmm.
many questions that were direct from your notes, and also the IR questions, sir. I could handle those questions because of the keywords that you provided, like the
Hmm.
dehyphenation, rule-based order.
Hmm.
These keywords I sprinkled, and also this, sir, in conclusion, that as you used to say that jumlas, sabka saath,
हाँ,
sabka
Jimmy.
vikas, the kind of jumlas. I totally relied upon those jumlas in the each sir in GS 1, 2, 3, 4. So I relied upon those. And the quotes, sir, that you provided in the IR, I concluded one question as I mentioned earlier,
Hmm.
and I mentioned here and there the type of dimension, like the three dimension, the economic dimension. So
Okay.
I think this time that went out in my favor. So
Okay. We will also share your answer copies with the students and aspirant community. That will also help them.
yes,
And coming to IR and other things, at times in GS there are certain questions which are completely bouncer, or you do not know the answer of such questions. And what do you do in such questions? Particularly if they're asked in 15 markers and we only have one page to write for them. How did you tackle those questions? Let's say, for example, the pardoning power of US president was there this time.
yes, sir.
And likewise, there are many such questions in GS1 too. Like in geography, they ask such questions. So how do you fill those 3 pages and how do you tackle these questions? Do you keep them for last, or you have a particular order of attempting questions?
So I made a strategy that I would attempt 11 to 20 question in a sequential order. So this was my
Hmm.
strategy. So for the 15 markers, be it from my knowledge or did I have to or I have to write from the peripheral knowledge. I used to write in that time only, sir, for the 11 to 20 because these were 15 marker question. So there was an onshore oil reserve question that was there. I didn't
Hmm.
have much content on that particular question. So what I did was I made two maps in that question so that could fill up the pages. And the peripheral knowledge, I poured it down and the basic conclusion and introduction can be formed based upon the question because if we
Hmm.
have slightest of the knowledge then we can form the introduction and conclusion, and for the body parts sir, we have to sir push the beat around it, sir. We have to write the generic point and something that is not even right, not even wrong, it is quite like on the gray zone itself, so examiner can fetch you the marks for that. So this was my
Hmm.
strategy. For the 1 to 10 question, what I used to do was I used to first pick up those questions which I know the best and used to write those. And especially the first and second question, I used to write with utmost sincerity so that the examiner has the most good impression if he is starting, she's
Hmm.
starting from the first or second question, sir. And then I used to do what was that I'll pick up the question that are from my knowledge base and used to
Hmm.
write those questions.
Your
And
areas
for
of
the
strength.
end, yes, yes, sir. And in the end, I used to write those questions which I have slight less knowledge or no knowledge, sir, based upon that, sir. So I feel that
All right.
in a particular in each paper, there are 12 to 16 questions that
Hmm.
are from the basic resources or basic knowledge that we study
Hmm.
for the mains. There are 3 to 4 questions that are out of the box, and we have to write it then and there with our own creativity, sir. So this is my particular insights on this, sir.
Absolutely. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ठीक बोला है. This is what it is, and this is the strategy every topper has been saying time and again, that please do not leave any question. Even
Yes,
if you
sir.
do not know the answer, write something, fill the pages. That is way
Yes, sir.
better and rewarding than leaving the paper. And coming to ethics.
Mhm.
So what was your ethics strategy? And in particularly in case studies or section A, which section did you attempt first? Were you able to complete the paper? Because that is the major challenge in ethics that everyone faces.
So based upon this challenge only, I personalized or they curated the strategy. What I personally felt was I can do two 10 marker question in 10 minutes. But for the case study, personally, I was not able to do the case study in the 10 marker, 10 minutes, sir. So I
Huh.
used to first complete the case studies, sir. And in the 5 minute breaks, the 5 minute initial paper that we used to get,
Hmm.
I think it is on the 2 p.m., somewhere around 2 p.m., we get the paper and before
Hmm.
5 minutes of the initial starting.
Yes.
I used to
Yes.
read the case study, first case study, because I know that time is limited and the time crunch is there in
Hmm.
the statistics paper. So first I completed the case study, then I moved to the section A. And sir, actually section A is more fetching or more differentiating in the ethics. So I fortunately completed the paper within the time limit. I think I wrote the last question in 4 minutes. It's 4 minutes only. The 6B question I wrote in the 4 minutes itself. Although the marks are not too much, like I have scored 110, there is a scope of improvement. There is a huge scope of
Hmm.
improvement. But I
Hmm.
relied upon your notes of the value addition notes that were there. Just before the GS4 paper, I revised
Hmm.
thoroughly the notes that you provided, the keywords that you provided, there was a value added notes of the ethics. I
Marks booster
actually,
notes. Yes.
yes, a marks booster note. I actually added some of the dimension which I felt was necessary or missing from those notes. And then I prepared my own notes digitally and revised them, sir. So this was my strategy for the ethics, sir.
And did you use real life examples or examples from mythology like Mahabharata, Ramayana in your answers?
Yes, sir. So because of your insight that the examiner is quite on the older side, sir, and he or she
Hmm.
loves the mythological example, I did sprinkled here and there the Mahabharata and Ramayana examples, and from the philosophical, the Buddhism, Jainism, I did sprinkle the examples. So,
Hmm. That's good. That's good. So, how much time did you take to complete all the case studies? If you started with the case studies first.
sir, I was just over 5 minutes. As if we allocate the time, I was just over the 5 minutes mark. 1 hour 30 minutes I gave for the case study,
Hmm.
and it was
And
completed
one
in
hour.
1 hour 35 minutes. In yes, sir, that was my
That's the right way because six case studies and 15 minutes max.
yes,
So
sir.
somewhere around 90-95 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, wonderful. And let's talk about optional now. We'll talk about it briefly. So you have scored very, very well in optional. That
So,
was a great score. Uh, Reaching 300 in optional is
yes,
no easy task. It's no easy feat, particularly when the scaling of all the optionals is down. So 300 is an excellent score in anthropology. So what
yes.
were your resources for anthropology and what do you think worked for you in anthropology? Did you also make your own notes and did you use mocks more or PIQs more for anthropology?
So for anthropology, first I would like to thank Karandeep sir from the Level Up IS. Actually, I did foundation classes in the fourth year from Karandeep sir. So those classes provided me the conceptual clarity that we need for the optional. Actually, for the optional, we need a little more depth than the GS, sir, because the questions in the recent years have been much conceptual and
Mm,
requires sir, and I would say more understanding, sir, more clarity, sir. For that, what I did was in the fourth year, I completed the optional classes and I had the optional notes. But I was feeling that these notes are not sufficient, or I would say more structured, sir. So from the June to December, I prepared PYQ based question in the question answer format, the optional notes of my own. I supplemented them with the Laghima Tiwari ma'am's notes and various
mm,
other few resources, sir, because I felt that Laghima ma'am had done the work of reading the more resources and compiling them here. So it was not I would say wise to reinvent the wheel again, sir. So I relied
mm,
upon her notes and Akshat sir's book. I relied here and there, and more upon my foundation notes. I prepared comprehensive my own notes for few part of the subjects, sir. And in between prelims and mains, sir, I prepared short notes out of them based upon the PYQs. What important themes are there? What important questions are there? And what important scholars are asked by the examiner? Based upon those,
mm.
so PYQ was the most important thing which I did for the optional. I can say I have done the PYQs for 2 to 3 times between the prelims and mains for each and every unit. And also I have written the PYQs, sir. For the optional, the strategy was that I used to write 50 markers daily for the optional, sir. I used to
Daily
study
after
the,
prelims?
yes, sir, daily
Okay.
till the last week of the prelims, just before the last week. I used to write 50 marks of the questions for the optional.
Hmm.
Actually, I did not uh, did this exercise for the GS and did for the anthropology, and this worked out for me for the anthropology. In the anthropology, 300 marks is quite good, sir. I think so. This was my sources, sir. The Karandeep sir's foundation notes and my own notes based upon the Laghima Tiwari ma'am's insights, sir. This was. And
Okay.
PYQs, sir.
And
PYQs. I
PIQs.
cannot say, yes, PYQs were the most important thing that I did for the anthropology, as there was currently sir's test series was there of the anthropology, which was quite, sir, PYQ based only, sir. So these were
Okay.
my strategies. I did not give much mocks for the anthropology of much coachings, much institutes. Rather, I relied upon the PYQs itself, sir.
All right. And for GS, did you write any mocks or did you attempt any mocks between the prelims and mains gap?
Yes, sir. I did write the Abhyas test series that is there, the
Okay.
Abhyas test series.
The four
And
tests.
apart from it,
Yes.
yes, sir. Apart from it, sir, what I did was I tried to give the mocks for the ethics, sir. But, sir, I was not quite happy with the kind of preparation that I had for the ethics till the
Uh,
last week. because I had not thoroughly analyzed the PYQs for the ethics, because I don't know why I did not did this. I did this in the last week itself. Like I was able to find the themes that are repeated in the ethics also, the kind of themes that are there, like ethical
Huh.
relativism versus universalism, the
Yes.
absolutism. So these
Hmm.
themes I was able to identify in the last week itself. So what I did was I prepared a Word document in that I had the PYQs of last 5 to 7 years and made the notes out of these chat GPT as well as the cloud. And I read those notes just before the day itself. And two times I revised it in the last week. So I had freshly prepared arguments and points, and I did recycle them in the actual examination also. So
Okay. All right. Wonderful. And for GS, you just wrote Abhyas, no other mock.
and yes, I didn't give any other mock. For ethics, I did. I
Hmm.
gave one more mock of the PW only ISs, but I did
Okay.
not give
But
much mock
you
for
used to
the.
practice or structure the PYQs.
Yes, sir. For polity also, sir, I forgot to mention, I had done the exercise of same PYQs only. For the past 5 to 7 years, I have each and every PYQ ready in my Word document, and I had revised
Okay.
it for the last week, sir. So I had prepared the case laws, the readily formatted, sir, arguments that I
Hmm.
can recycle in the examination, sir. So that worked for me, sir, I think in the polity also.
Exactly. Yes. Bilkul. So, apart from this, Sanidhya, what do you think is the role of AI in this preparation? As we are seeing ChatGPT, Gemini, and other models are also coming up. So, how do you think it is going to help the aspirants in the preparation, or how did you use it?
Sir, if we give right prompt to the AI chatbots, they provide excellent answer, multidimensional answers. Sir. But we should not totally rely upon the AI also, because what it does is in the examination, it is the aspirant itself, it is the person itself who has to write the answers. If he or she is not brainstorming upon the questions, sir, then the kind of dimension will not open up in the examinations. Sir. So I relied upon the AI for preparing the answers. But I used to do was that I used to first, sir, brainstorm upon the question and formulate my own points, sir, and then add on the kind of insight that is provided by the AI bots. Sir. Sometimes, sir, the AI also hallucinate, give wrong answers, so we must be aware of its shortcoming. That is why I use two AI chatbots. That is the ChatGPT as well as the Cloud. So, but in the recent
Claude.
days,
Okay.
yes, sir. In the recent days, Gemini has also substantially improved its quality, sir. And I think that it has fully Google integration. So it is
Huh.
better structuring than the Chat GPT, sir. What I personally feel is that. So Gemini, I would prefer in these upcoming days, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. And lastly, let us talk 5 minutes about the interview. So, you scored 168 in interview.
Yes, sir.
So, what do you think is the panel looking for in interview? How was your interview day or interview experience?
So if I compare the interview experience on the days, it was actually one of the best if I compare with the mocks. So because after coming out of the interview, as my elder brother and siblings were waiting
Hmm.
outside, I told them the interview went well. I was quite happy with the kind of performance that I did there. Although I did not answer few questions, like there was one question
Hmm.
of the who started RTI. I remember clearly remember from your notes that it was MKSS, but
In case this,
I did not know that it was Aruna Roy.
the name of
Yes,
the
sir.
person.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, sir. So that fact I miss. So, and being from Rajasthan, I think that
Huh.
was not
They
expected
were
from me.
expecting it.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, sir. So it could have been these kind of facts
Yes.
that might
Apart from
have
this,
brought
how
them.
how did you prepare? How did you prepare for interview?
Sir, just like the for the prelims and mains, I use the
Hmm.
transcripts and
Huh.
thoroughly use this notebook LLM to sort out the question based upon the themes, like based upon my DEF, sir. In the interview, sir, I prepared DEF as well as the current affair. And my graduation
Hmm.
subject, I did prepare with the transcripts itself, sir.
Hmm.
Based upon the keywords that are there in the DEF, I used to sort out the question from the previous transcripts and daily transcripts that were uploaded on the Telegram channel. So there were many Telegram
Hmm.
channels. I used
Yes.
to
Yes.
I had prepared the questions, like for the anthropology itself, for the PYQs of the transcripts, like transcript PYQs. I did prepare the Word document and revised. And for the civil engineering, as I'm civil engineering graduate, so I prepared these. And for the current affairs, sir, I read the current affairs of the Indian Express as well as the Sadhya Hindu. I used to read two
Hmm.
newspapers. So this was my strategy.
All right, all right. That's great. And Sanidhya, one last question. What do you think is the toughest stage in this examination?
So I can say day before prelims, it is quite full of anxiety because prelims is, sir, at the end of the day, we know just about 30 to 35 to 40 questions, and in the rest of it, we have to use our peripheral knowledge and the PYQ based themes. And it can someday turn out in your favor or not turn out in your favor,
Hmm.
because I have seen many toppers who have been ranker in the past attempt and have not cleared the prelims examination. So and this uncertainty of prelims is there, sir. So that was quite fearful, or I would say most anxious time of my preparation, sir. And because, sir,
All right.
what happens is in the prelims, if you do not clear the first stage itself, it really creates a pressure, mental pressure, that we are not able to
Hmm.
clear the first stage itself.
First stage.
On reaching the mains, I would say the disappointment is there, sir, if you or do not clear
Hmm.
the mains itself. But not clearing the prelims is much disappointing, sir, I would say.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And based upon my experience too, even more than the final result, it is the prelims result which hurts the most because
Yes,
you have to spend entire year waiting and waiting for the mark sheet, analyzing your marks, and you have nothing to do.
yes, sir.
Just
Yes,
have to
sir.
wait, and study. Nothing else. So I also feel
Yes,
the
sir.
same thing that prelims result, if you are not able to qualify, that is the most disheartening one.
Yes, sir. Yes. And
All
sir,
right.
from your
So,
experience, I can say I can only imagine the kind of experience of not clearing the four-time interview. Sir, I was quite shattered. From your experience only, because my brother and sisters, elder brothers and sister, also know you. So they were my elder brother is also preparing for the civil services. He actually guided me, and he actually cleared for the prelims the earlier the 24 attempt, and this 25 attempt he was preparing for the mains, and suddenly on the 11th of June when we got the list, his
हाँ,
name was not there. So it was
oh,
quite surprising for him. So
yes, यही
yes,
prelims में यही यही सबसे बड़ी चीज है. Even a friend of mine, he got IPS in fifth attempt, but in sixth attempt he could not clear the prelims.
yes,
So selection के बाद भी people are not able to clear prelims. इतनी uncertainty आ गई है in prelims. And a similar thing is happening in essay and interview too. Particularly essay. This time I have seen essay scores dipping a lot, even for toppers. So those who were scoring in 120s, 130s last year, their scores have come down to 90s.
so I also scored somewhere around. There was no single test in which I scored less than 110, sir. To be honest, in the essays, sir. I used to score
Hmm.
in 110 to till 120. This was my range, sir. So I was expecting somewhere around, if not 110 to 20, then 100 to 110. But the
Hmm.
score was, sir, 91. So I think the scaling is there, or I might have made some mistakes, sir. But
Hmm.
as I said to you also in the message, that I was not expecting 300 in anthropology. So at the end of the day, it gets averaged out, sir.
Yes, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल, absolutely. It is
Yes, sir.
ultimately about the final selection and the service
Yes,
that
sir.
we want.
Yes.
And thankfully, with God's grace, it worked in
Yes,
our
sir.
favor this
Yes,
time,
sir.
and you were able to clear
Yes, sir. Sir. Fingers crossed, sir. I was just hoping for the name in the list
it.
because I clearly remember, sir, Ishita Kishore ma'am, the 22 topper, as far as I can remember.
Yes.
Just after having the list in her name, she was thinking that, oh God, I'm relieved that I would not have to give the another prelims, the subsequent attempts. Prelims is little uncertain, sir. I can say little uncertain. Sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you so much, Sanidhya, for taking out time, sharing your strategy, your approach with all of us. And
Yes.
we are grateful that you joined us today and shared your strategy with us, with all the future aspirants. And we wish you all the very best in your future journey in civil services. And we are sure you'll make all of us proud, and we are all proud of you. And you will be a great civil servant and an asset for this country. And we are hoping to connect with you again very soon.
Sure, sir. Anytime, sir. Thank you. I am also grateful for the kind of mentorship that you have provided, sir. Because I used to watch your videos only, like just before the prelims, just before the mains. You posted a video that don't get anxious for the mains examination. Like you shared how in the fifth attempt also you were quite anxious and feeling the same feeling that you were having in the first attempt.
बिल्कुल
So Yes, sir.
This
So
this
that really
happens. This
helps, sir.
happens every time
Yes.
in prelims. Bilkul. This
Sure.
happens
Yes.
every time in prelims.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sanitya. Thank you so much for taking out time and joining us.